Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to discuss the role of a chief brand officer, and we will look into a marketing assessment system and discuss the brand audit in detail, that how to conduct a brand audit. In the previous session we discussed how to conduct a brand tracking survey, right? So let's see that what are the role of what is the role of a chief brand officer, and what are his duties, and what is he or she expected to do, because there are female chief brand officers in firms as well as male chief brand officers, and they're very experienced people. They take care of the brand like it's their own baby, and they are involved in each and every marketing activity or marketing campaign that is designed. It has to be like approved by the chief brand officer, because that will impact his their brand, and it is either going to bring improve the image, a good name, bring a good name, or improve the image of the brand, or it might hamper or tarnish the image of the brand. So you have to pass everything through the chief brand officer. Even if you all the they even go into the production area, and they see that how that product is being produced, what are the different quality control checks, are they being implemented or not, and how stringent are the quality control checks, because again that impacts the brand image. Because if an Alper milk if Alper milk packed into a Tetra pack, it goes into the market and it has a bad taste, it's going to hamper the image of Allper, because this one customer would stop buying Allpers from that day onwards. Plus, they will tell all their friends and family that this is what happened to me. You see? So, one incident brings a lot of bad name to the brand and the brand image. So you have to be very careful, and then he would then go into the packing area and see whether the product is being packed properly, and the required safety, like all of the safety features are put into place, that the cartons are so strong that they will not bulge when 6 or 7 cartons are stacked on top of each other. Because when these products are moved from one warehouse to another warehouse, then they are stacked over one another and they're handled by laborers. So if the carton is strong enough, it will not bulge. Otherwise, it will bulge and the products inside will be damaged, and that too will leave a bad taste in the mouth of the customer when he sees a packet on the shelf that is smudged, and they will not like to buy this packet. So the chief brand officer is an omnipresent and unconscious person whose job is to champion and protect the brand. That, like, he is everywhere, he is always alert, and he thinks of this brand as one of his children, and the way it looks and feels both inside and outside the company, the chief brand officer is always active. The chief brand officer also goes to the retail outlets where that product is being uh, displayed and how it is being offered to the customer. If the company is not properly displaying that product, they've put the product in the lowest shelf, then that is also bringing a bad image to this product, that this product is of such a low quality that it is put on the last shelf of that the shelf rack. So they would try and put it on the topmost shelf where the customers can easily see it, and things that are placed on a higher platform, and the light is shining on them, it creates a very good image in the mind of the customer, and he or she assigns more priority and more respect to that product. Sometimes then they provide gondolas. If the shopkeeper is misbehaving or they don't have proper shelves there, so they would provide a gondola, that this is a gondola of our branded product, and only our products will be kept placed in the different shelves made in this gondola, and it will be well lit up, and the signage would be proper. So as soon as the customer enters into a shopping mart or a big shopping area, they would see that gondola properly branded with the Alper, and they would recognize that all the stuff in this gondola would be from Alper's brand, and they should be placed there appropriately, and it would leave a good impression in the mind of the customers. The chief brand officer recognizes that the brand is the sum total of everything a company does, and strives to ensure that all the employees understand the brand and its value, creating and brand disciplines in the process. If your manufacturing staff is working day and night, it would and they are taking care of every bit of detail and manufacturing and packing that product, then your supply chain staff are very careful in delivering that product into the right form at the retail outlets. So when it arrives in the hands of the customer, it has a perfect shape and design that it was originally packed in. CBO is an architect and not only helps build the brand, but also plans, anticipates, researches, probes, listens, and informs, right? So he is like an architect for the brand. He keeps on making plans, and then he anticipates that, okay, now the summer season is approaching. What are the things that we need to take care of, and how are we going to present our brand to the customer? All of these things are accounted for by this person. Then he probes, like he finds out, and he listens to people. He goes and he listens to shopkeepers. He talks to customers. He stays informed. He is active on the social media. By he, I means he and his team, because he's one person. He tries to be alert all the time. Plus, he keeps his team very actively involved with the brand, so that all the girls and boys working in his department constantly appraise him of what the brand is passing through, and what the competitor brands are doing, and how does their brand look like when it's compared to all the competitors in the market. So you should always be have an upper edge in the market, and you, even if in forms of technology, in like whether you're considering the packaging of the product, the design, the quality of advertisements and communication campaign that you are running, everything should be spick and span. Working with senior leadership, the CBO helps envision not just that works best for the brand today, but also what can help drive it forward in the future, and consumer or market insights. Chief Brand Officer determines and protects the voice of the brand over time by taking a long-term 2 to 3 years perspective, and the CBO can be accountable for brand critical and corporate wide activities such as advertising, positioning, corporate design, and corporate communications. Brand development review. Review brand sensitive material. For example, you have to review the brand strengths, monitors or tracking studies, brand audits, and focus groups, observations, and gut feelings. Review the status of the key brand initiatives, because brand initiatives include strategic thrusts to either strengthen or weaken in a brand, to exploit an opportunity to grow and the brand in a new direction. Customer perceptions may change, and marketers therefore need to assess them. Continuing with the brand development review, you have to review brand sensitive projects. For example, evaluate advertising campaigns, corporate communications, sales trainings, agendas, and important human resource programs, right? And retention that profoundly affects the organization ability to enhance and project brand values. You have to review the new products and your distribution strategies with respect to core brand values, evaluate listening and the brand to penetrate, and then you have to evaluate licensing the brand to penetrate new markets, forming joint ventures with other companies, forming alliances with other brands, right? New products or new uh, product development should be focused on how you have to improve your existing product, forming joint ventures to develop new products, and then expanding distribution on large scale discount retailers, resolve brand positioning conflicts. It is the duty of the chief brand officer to resolve the brand positioning conflicts, identify inconsistencies in positioning across the channels, then business units or markets. Then once you are now clear about the role of the chief brand officer, that he takes into account each and every detail, whether it's regarded to marketing communication campaign, the positioning of the brand, the brand value that is being projected, new product development or alliances the brand gets into, or the joint ventures, whether the brand is licensing its characters or itself to another brand for promotion purposes. All of these things are taken care of by the chief brand officer. Marketing assessment system. Does the senior executive team regularly and formally assess marketing performance? So you have to create a marketing assessment system and you need to ask these questions. And if your management team can answer these questions and they keep looking into these areas, they would constantly end up protecting their brand and enhancing the image of their brand from time to time. So does the senior executive team regularly and formally assesses marketing performance of your brand? What does the senior executive team understand by customer value? How do they understand that what is customer value and how is our brand fulfilling this task, and how successful are we in satisfying our customers? How much time does the senior executive team give to marketing issues? So there's an allocation of time, that how much time do you give to marketing issues and how much time you give to your routine work, the day-to-day work, the human resource personnel, handling them or communicating between departments. So there's like so much that you can do in 8 and 9 hours, but how much of that time is allocated or given to marketing issues? Has the senior executive team quantified what success would look like 5 years or 10 years from now? So how do they project this brand in the next 5 years to come and in another 10 years to come, remaining in a market which is experiencing hyper competition? Does the business marketing plan show the non-financial corporate goals and market goals? So you make a business and marketing plan and it should show the non-financial corporate goals and marketing goals. How you're going to enhance your brand image. How are you going to transfer that brand value to your customers? Like, these are non-financial corporate goals, but they are the ones that are responsible for bringing in the financials. If your brand is respected amongst customers and customers keep on buying it again and again, and they love talking about your brand, they refer your brand to other customers, that means you are going to have more sales, and more sales means more revenue means more profit. So these non-financial corporate goals, will translate into financial goals if your brand keeps on developing a greater customer base and enjoying a very good image in the mind of the customers. Does the plan show the comparison of your marketing performance with competitors of the market as a whole? Because you constantly need to compare yourself with competitors who you think might not be in a position to take away your market share, but they are constantly improving and they're working on it. And if not today, 2 years from down the road, they might be in a position to snatch a sizable market share from you. Does your strategy have quantified milestones to indicate progress towards that success? So you should have a strategy which has quantified milestones. Like it can be quantified that these are the milestones that we need to achieve, and in order to achieve these milestones, this is what we have to do every month. This is what we need to do every quarter, and that's how it would translate into a milestone over a year's time, right? Are the marketing performance indicators seen by the senior executive team aligned with these milestones, right? If they're aligned with these milestones, that means that you are moving in the right direction. So your marketing assessment system should be well in place, and you can even go into detail and develop some other questions that you might feel appropriate for your brand. But your marketing assessment system acts as a warner, and it is a proactive approach which keeps telling you about how your brand is progressing in the market, what is your brand performance right now, how is your brand impacting the customer mindset, and what improvements you need to do, looking at what your competitors are doing and how they are constantly improving all the time. Today we are going to focus on Rolex brand audit. Rolex is one of the prestigious watchmaking companies, and it falls in the brand Z luxury products list, and the brand Z luxury brand list. Rolex has acquired a place in the top 10, and it is the only watch making company. They don't make any clothes or shoes, handbags, other materials. All they do is make watches. So being only a watch manufacturer and then rising up to a spot in the brand Z luxury brands list, and being in the top 10 is a real honor for Rolex. Let's discuss a background of when you're conducting a brand audit. You start off with the background and history of the brand, that how this brand has progressed over the years, then decade after decade, and how they've improved and they've come up to the customers' expectations, how they have developed this brand over a period of time, and passed through various market situations. Market are sometimes in a market economy is experiencing a boom at times, then there is recession, then recovery period, and so there are different market situations that also impact the sales of products. And then these brands, just for their survival, they take into account certain measures that help them even afterwards, that if ever there's a recession again, these are the things that we are going to do to take us through that recession, rather than closing the factory down and sitting at one corner that there's nothing that can be done now and we are doomed, and that's about it. So you just wrap up your brand and you just go home. So this is not an approach. Background history: Rolex was founded in 1905 by a German named Hans Wieseldorf and his brother-in-law William Davis as a watchmaking company, and Wieseldorf and Davis were headquartered in London, England. And Wieseldorf, a self-proclaimed perfectionist. So what he tried to do was that he started on this timepiece, and he kept on making it as accurate as possible. There were some inefficiencies because all the parts were mechanical, and there were a few inefficiencies. So he tried to make that timepiece as accurate as possible, and then they came up with a Rolex that could be worn on a wrist, and it was small enough to be worn on a wrist. All the timepieces that were kept in a pocket were of fairly larger size, but this Rolex that they came up with was a small watch, and it was very accurate. Plus, it could be worn on a wrist, so it became a wearable. Like nowadays, you have your smartphones and you have your wearables, which the bands that you wear on your wrist, and slowly people, this smartphone would also be like converted into a wearable, and these smart watches will be developed further, and they would be doing all the tasks that are performed by a smartphone. So you won't even need to carry your smartphone in future as well. Brand portfolio. You look at the brand portfolio and how many sub brands it has. Rolex includes 3 family brands. So they have 3 distinct family brands, and within those brand families, then they have sub brands, right? So Rolex includes 3 family brands of wristwatches called collections, and each of these has a subset of brands. First, the Oyster Perpetual collection includes the traditional Rolex wristwatch and has 8 sub-brands, and they are differentiated by features and design. The Perpetual collection targets affluent men and women. So they have produced a whole range of watches under the collection of Oyster Perpetual collections, and they can be Oyster Datejust, and other Oyster Perpetual watches, but they are focused on affluent men and women. Who is going to be the user of these products? Affluent men and women. So they are fairly high priced watches. Right. Then we move on to can you hear me? Okay, right. Then comes the professional collection. So the Oyster Perpetual collection is for affluent men and women, and the professional collection targets specific athletic and adventure user groups, and the Oyster Professional collection includes 7 sub-brands. Then the Cellini collection focuses on formal occasions. Now they are quite expensive watches, and a lot of diamonds are used in these watches. They have these leather like the, the leather straps, and they are produced with a lot of care. And the Cellini collection focuses on formal occasions through its elegant designs and encompasses 7 sub-brands. And these watches incorporate fashion and style, and they have colored leather bands and an extensive use of diamonds. And inventory. Now, when you are conducting a brand audit, there are 2 major areas that you need to focus on. One is brand inventory, and the other is brand exploratory. Okay, so first we are going to study the brand inventory. Brand inventory. Rolex success as the largest single luxury watch company and watch brand that can be credited to several factors. The company not only produces extremely high quality watches and timepieces, but also tightly controls how its watches are sold, ensuring high demand and premium prices. So you just cannot find Rolex at the at a small corner shop. You know, they would sell their watches through properly branded outlets at very premium locations. So the product, first look at the product. All of these things are now being discussed under the head brand inventory. Throughout the years, Rolex timepieces have maintained the high quality and durability and prestige on which the company builds its name. And in particular, the firm has maintained a keen focus on delivering high quality, accurate watches of superior craftsmanship using only the finest premium materials that were available, such as gold, platinum, and jewels. So even when they're constructing a watch, they use gold parts and platinum parts and jewels inside the watch as well to enhance the accuracy of the machinery. Then extensive use of diamonds in watches and decoration with elegant leather straps adds to the fashion, style, and apparent beauty of the product. So during brand inventory, you have to look at your distribution system, that where these watches are being sold, how they are being sold, how they are being presented to the customer, what is our product, how our product is being developed, what are the quality control measures that we are taking, and how this product is finally ready for presentation to the customer. If Dolan says that we are going to give you a 12-year warranty for our equipment, then they must be really sure that this product would work for 12 years. Understand? They would put it through different types of tests, and they would be super sure before making this commitment with their customers that we are offering you 12 years warranty. Dollars was taken over by a Turkish electronic giant, Arçelik, and they are selling their products throughout the Europe. So they are a very competent home appliances manufacturer firm, and that's why they bring in that high superior technology and their superior quality standards, which enables them to make a commitment of 12 years with the customer. Distribution. Rolex carefully monitors how its timepieces are sold and distributing them through its approximately 60,000 official Rolex dealers all around the world. So you have to be an official Rolex dealer to sell a Rolex watch. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry cannot sell the Rolex watch from their shop. It's not a commodity product. You can sell a Lay's chips packet from the corner of a small shop and from even a tuck shop in a school or a canteen, but that's not the case for a Rolex. Official dealers must meet several criteria. They are first screened, then they become dealers, then they deposit security amount that they will never even bulge the, they will always take care of the quality standards that have been highlighted and enforced by the company, and they will never sell counterfeit Rolex watches at their dealership. Understand? Because Rolex knows that they have counterfeit, low quality products in the market as well. Copycats have tried to made replicas of their product. So official dealers must meet several criteria, and that includes high-end image, adequate space. They should have adequate space and an attractive location, and an outstanding service, and their staff should be very well trained. In addition, a large secondary market exists for Rolex, and auctions at eBay and at live auctions run by Christie's and Sotheby's. So Sobeys and Christie's, they run live auctions. If there's a very special Rolex and it is high priced, so and they say that there are only five of its type that have been created. So then it's put on an auction, and people from all over the world, they would bid, and the highest bidder will take that watch. Some car companies also do that, that they just make five pieces of that car, and then all the people, like people who are prince or uh, who are very wealthy, rich lords, they would participate, or kings, they would participate in that auction, and they would just pick up those special products that a company has to offer. So Rolex does this. Communication. Communication is also covered under brand inventory. Rolex marketing and communication strategy strives to create high quality, exclusive brand image. And the company associates itself with ambassadors who are very well known celebrities, established artists, top athletes, and rugged adventures and daring explorers to create an image of Rolex. Also sponsors various sports and cultural events. You must have seen that when at Wimbledon, you would have seen the Rolex brands being advertised there, because Rolex is sponsoring Wimbledon tennis and high status events where customers who can afford to buy a Rolex watch, the people who are the elite of societies, they go to these places. So Rolex tries and sponsors such events where they'll have a unique customer audience who would be present there. Advertising. Rolex is the number one watch, and in 2008 the firm spent over $49 million on advertising, and in 2019 the Rolex brand value was $8,000 million. So it has a $8 billion brand value in the market, and that is all because of how many customers around the world, they respect Rolex, and it lives in the minds of millions of customers, and it is appreciated, and it is a very valued brand. And it appeared in the Brand Z Luxury Top 10 list. One of the company's largest expenditure is for magazine advertising, and whenever you are boarding a flight and you are traveling from one destination to another, the magazine that you will find in flight has this Rolex advertisements on those special magazines. Then there are special expensive magazines which are circulated in the society. Rolex makes sure that its watches are advertised in those magazines as well. So the ads show brand ambassadors or close-up photos of one of its watches with the taglines, and Rolex, a crown for every achievement. This is their tagline: Rolex, a crown for every achievement. Brand exploratory. Consumer knowledge. Rolex has successfully leveraged its history. Now the brand inventory process is finished, where we discussed that what are the different outlets where this product is going to be sold. We discussed the product, then we discussed all the different family of the different brands that Rolex offers to the market, the advertising strategy, how they appoint ambassadors, and how they project their brand. Now we move on to brand exploratory. Just like you explore a product, you go into the market and you explore your brand image, and you find out from the consumers what they think about your brand. So the brand exploratory phase now starts, and the consumer knowledge is first tested. Rolex has successfully leveraged its history and tradition of excellence along with innovation of becoming the most powerful and recognized watchmaker in the world. And some positive consumers brand associations for Rolex might be sophisticated, prestigious, exclusive, powerful, elegant, and high quality. So brand associations for Rolex might be that it is a sophisticated watch, it is a prestigious watch, it is an exclusive watch, and powerful, elegant, high quality. So these are the brand associations that customers have with Rolex. Competitive analysis. How does the Rolex brand compete with all the competitors in the market? Rolex has many competitors in the $26.5 billion watch industry, right? So since it is holding $8 billion of this $26.5 billion, you can well imagine that it is a market leader and it has a lion's share in the global market. However, only a few brands compete in the very high-end market because Rolex is not going to compete itself with the very simple watches. It is only going to compete with the brands that are that have the brand strength and brand stature uh, comparable with Rolex. Through its pricing and distribution strategies, Rolex has positioned itself as a high-end luxury watch brand, and on the lower end of its spectrum, it competes with companies such as Tag Heuer and Omega. And on the high end, with brands such as Patek Philippe, and which are makers of very expensive wristwatches. Competitors. Tag Heuer, a leader in the luxury watch industry, and the Swiss firm Tag Heuer distinguishes itself by focusing on extreme chronograph precision in its watches and on sports and sponsorships, and it was founded in 1876. Luxury watch competitors are Audemars, Peugeot, Cartier, Patek Philippe, Chopard. So these are very high-end watches, and they're custom made to order for specific clients, and they have a specific serial number as well. So your grandfather might have a Patek Philippe watch with a specific serial number, and if something needs to be replaced, if a watch part has to be replaced, you have to write to that company and you have to write the serial number. They would send you the specific part that is required, and then you would go to a branded Patek Philippe distributor in your country, and they will repair your watch. Brand resonance pyramid. This is also part of brand exploratory. Now, in the brand resonance pyramid, you go through all the processes of brand equity building: the awareness stage, imagery, performance, what your customer feels about your product, how the customers judge your product, and whether how many customers are loyal to your product, right? Strategic recommendations are also made in the brand exploratory stage. Points of parity are compared, that all of these expensive brand watches that I have mentioned, what are the points of parity in Rolex and these brands, and then what is the point of difference? Where does Rolex stand out? Strategic brand positioning. How has Rolex positioned itself as a unique luxury brand in the watch industry? Brand mantra of Rolex. Then leverage the company's independent and continuous heritage and focus communicating long-term values for customers. So even in times of recessions and hard times, these companies do not compromise on the quality of the product that they make, because the people who buy these products are exclusive and they would like a high quality product no matter what the economic circumstances are. Leverage the company's elite craftsmanship and innovation. They started off with precision in the earlier 20th century, and they worked their way upwards with the elite craftsmanship and innovation. So these things have to be made known to the customers, and this would enhance the brand image and brand value of this brand. Research from, now it's more than 100 years old brand, right? Researchers from the Luxury Institute group suggested that consumers do not consider Rolex the top brand in quality and exclusivity. So Rolex competes for a share of the luxury buyer's wallet with a host of companies that are also selling clothes and shoes and handbags and other products. But many are less durable over a period of time, whereas a Rolex watch, just as I told you, might be 100 years old, but it's still working perfectly. And that's quality speaks for itself, right? And when people look at these antique watches, they have confidence that if this watch can provide uh, uh, trouble-free service for 100 years, that means that this company seriously looks into making quality products. And many are less durable over a time than a Rolex watch, and they are susceptible to falling out of fashion, whereas Rolex should leverage its superior value retention both in resale value and in its heirloom quality. So, so in brand, when we are conducting brand exploratory, we should focus on the product knowledge, consumer knowledge of our product, whether the customer thinks of our product as sophisticated, prestigious, exclusive, powerful, elegant, high quality. Then we should do a competitive analysis in brand exploratory and find out all about our competitors and how we are competing with them. Then we have to focus on these things, that brand resonance pyramid, strategic recommendations, points of parity, points of difference, strategic brand positioning, brand mantra, leverage the company's independent continuous heritage and focus, and commitment to long-term value. Whereas when you are focusing on brand inventory, then you are focusing on advertising, communication, and then your distribution network, how you present the product to the customer, and the product in itself. Right? If there are any questions, please ask them now. Yes, Ibrar Hussain, Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, beta?
No, sir.
What do you understand? How will you conduct a brand audit? What are the two main things that you need to do in a brand audit? Who will answer this question? Manur? What are the two most important things that you would do while you are conducting a brand audit? Okay, I'll go over it again. When you are, because this is very important. Rolex brand audit, when you are conducting a brand audit, there are two important things that you need to take care of. First of all, you should look at the brand portfolio, all the different things that that brand is offering, all the different products. Then you should focus on brand inventory. When you're focusing on brand inventory, Rolex successes as the largest single luxury watch brand that can be credited to several factors, right? What is the product? How much pain do they take? What are their quality standards? What are their SOPs? How much importance do they assign while they're developing new products and while they're creating existing products, right? And the types of materials that they use, like they use gold, platinum, and jewels in developing their watches. Then they decorate them with diamonds and elegant leather straps. Distribution system, how they want to project their image. If they have official Rolex dealers and only those dealers are pre-approved and they can sell Rolex watches. That means this company is very conscious about its image. So the official dealer would have an attractive place, and they would have adequate space to space these put these watches and present these watches to customers, and they would have an outstanding service quality. Their staff would be trained in a way that to handle these high-end customers who are coming to that dealer outlet. Communication, what quality of communication do they need to do with the audience, and what type of ambassadors and celebrities and athletes they will engage to promote their products, the advertising campaign that they're going to run, how much they're going to invest in it, and how are they going to project their company's brand name as an elegant brand all over the world. Rolex, a crown for every achievement. Brand exploratory. Then the second phase is brand. After you are finished with brand inventory, you move into brand exploratory. And there you test the knowledge of your consumers, and you see the brand, explore the brand association that Rolex has, that people consider it as a sophisticated brand, as a powerful, prestigious, elegant, and exclusive high quality watch, right? Then competitive analysis should be conducted in brand exploratory, and all the competitors who are operating in this market of $26.5 billion of watch industry, what is their market share, who are the customers that they are targeting. Now, there might be a watch company which does not sell millions of pieces every month, but they are making watches for the kings and queens and the elite of this world, like people who drive Rolls Royce. They are buying Audemars Peugeot watches, they buy Cartier watches, they have Patek Philippe watches, right, and Chopard, right? So they are catering to the a very special segment of the society, people who are basically calling the shots, and they run the states and affairs of the state. Brand resonance pyramid, strategic brand recommendations are made in this brand exploratory stage. Then you have to come up with points of parity that your brand has with other competitor brands, the points of difference that your brand has with the competitive brands. What is the strategic brand positioning that you and your company and your team has come up with? Now, this is where the chief brand officer steps in, and he takes care of all of these things of brand resonance pyramid, strategic recommendations, points of parity, points of difference, strategic brand positioning of the brand, devising a brand mantra for the brand. And they can also involve other advertising firms, and they can do crowdsourcing as well, that we want to develop a brand mantra for our brand, and we are open to suggestions from students. Usually what they do is that they go into universities and they contact the marketing professors there, and they ask their marketing students to come up with brand mantras, and in turn they would enter them into a competition, and they would win a prize. The prize would be that they would put their bill for tuition fee, or they give them a very special gift, or maybe a trip around the world, something of that sort, so that which makes the students happy. So you have to, as a chief brand officer, you have to leverage the company's elite craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is how they make that watch, and they have expertise in making that watch so precise and so accurate, and it lasts for such a long time, does not create any problems because of the materials used in that watch and the craftsmanship, the how the people who have made that watch, the handmade watch specifically, has lots of hours gone into making just one watch, right? and innovation that they keep on coming up with from time to time. All of this is discussed in the brand exploratory stage. Haji. Now I am asking this question again. Zara Salim, what are the two main important things that you are expected to do during a brand audit? If you are the chief brand officer of Nestle, what are the two main activities that you will do while conducting a brand audit? Shah Shahryar, Mohammad Gulrez. Okay. Thank you and